Peace be unto you, family. I know everybody is seeing the blue-colored profile pics all across social media, and it's very important that we understand what's taking place in the Sudan. The Sudan is under military rule right now, and this military rule is suppressing and oppressing the citizens of Sudan. They're committing countless murders, and they're even raping women, crimes against humanity. Now, this military rule is being led by a man named Mohammed Hamdan. Now, Mohammed Hamdan was also instrumental in the genocide in Darfur, which took place several years ago. This military rule in the Sudan is being supported by Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. And these two countries are being supported by the United States of America. So we see here, the United States of America is using Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates as puppets to create instability, destabilize, and cause Sudan to become a failed state. Instability, chaos, and war is the way that the United States is able to control and exploit countries in the Middle East.
Here are some more recent examples of lying wonders. 4-star U.S. Army General Wesley Clark said that 10 years before 9/11, Paul Wolfowitz, the neocon architect of Bush's war on Iraq, told General Clark of plans to clean out the Middle East and take over those Muslim nations. Just 10 days after 9/11, Clark was shown a Pentagon memo that describes how they plan to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Iran. 5 years and 7 countries. This woman named
9/11. About 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld and Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the Joint Staff who had used to work for me, and one of the generals called me and he said, "Sir, you got to come in. You got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, "No." He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, "We're going to war with Iraq. Why?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I guess they don't know what else to do." So I said, "Well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda?" He said, No. He says, "There's nothing new that way. They just made the decision to go to war with Iraq." He said, "I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we've got a good military and we can take down governments." And he said, "I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail." So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, "Are we still going to war with Iraq?" And he said, "Oh, it's worse than that." He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs," meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, "This is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran." I said, "Is it classified?" He said, "Yes, sir." I said, "Well, don't show it to me."
So the United States, of course, is saying that they want to calm the chaos and perpetuate peace in the Middle East and in the Sudan in particular. So to do this, they send American diplomat Donald Booth to the Sudan to try and bring peace to the area. Now, the Sudanese people know that this is a tremendous slap in the face, considering the history of Donald Booth in the Sudan. During the Obama administration, Donald Booth was intricately involved in the genocide in Darfur. Take a listen.
Donald Booth was the special envoy to both Sudan and South Sudan under the administration of Barack Obama from 2013 to 2017. Under his watch, the civil war and human rights abuses escalated. Since 2013, over 400,000 people have died, 4 million have been forced from their homes, and 6,500 have been recruited as child soldiers.
So we see America has been and is in the process of spinning the most elaborate and complex and nuanced web of lies and deceit and destruction that one can imagine. And it's reminiscent and reminds me of the scriptures. In the book of Psalms, chapter 10, it states that his mouth is full of lies and threats. Trouble and evil are under his tongue. This scripture speaks directly to the mentality and the condition of America and its ideologies and principles. We must see things with clarity and understand who the enemy is today.